Thank you guys for being here. The pieces that I'm gonna read is kind of just me trying to understand why plants and fires come up so much in my most recent writing. An analysis of fires and plants in my 2016 pieces. El fuego. When you were 6 years old, your mother picked you up from school. She had a worried look on her face. She said, Vianney, mi vida, tenemos que ir al hospital. You asked her, Mami, but why? Ama, ¿por qué manejas tan rápido? Mami, what's going on? She never replied. She just drove, and it turned out your cousin, Adrian, had died in a fire while you were away at school. The next week, at school, you sat at your psychologist's office. She looks at you and asks, how are you feeling? You say, I'm fine. She says, Vianney, mi amor, you lost the first love of your life to a fire that will haunt you for life. Querida madre, I have burned the house our dear Uncle Sam gave to us that one night you agreed to paint it white. I got tired of waiting for the sun to turn it brown, canela, so I decided to bring fire to help us out. Now the house is as dark as Angel's Renaissance art lacks. Now the house is as dark as your pretty eyes, madre. Mira, mami, que la casa es bella. Look, mother, isn't the house beautiful? La planta. At 17, you read Amor en los tiempos del cólera by Gabriel García Márquez, one hot summer, acostada en la hamaca, sintiéndote en Macondo bajo un clima tropical y las plantas que decoraban el paraíso del amor. That was when the garden outside your house in Mexico was filled with plants. Now there's nothing. You begin to wonder why, and you stop once you notice the empty spot at the dinner table. The day your father left, your mother stopped watering the plants. Your cat was buried inside one of the plant pots. Your mother's heart was buried inside one of the sunflower pots. You watch from the window as the yellow wall peels. You think maybe if I bury myself next to my mother's heart I will cry myself to sleep, the plants will grow again. One day the plant turned brown and you grabbed the kitchen knife. Your hands were covered in snow and the snow was white. Your hands were white. Remember that time in el jardín de tu abuela you used a knife to cut a tree and white came out, but haven't you learned in Bibles, white meant pure, but white was blood. You killed your plant because it turned brown, because you learned in Renaissance art that brown is non-existent. Brown must go, brown must go. The day you saw your mother crying, you looked out the window and her garden was dead. You said, Mami, I killed my father. Mami, I burned the house down. Your mother's body became covered in plants, and your mother is inside Frida Kahlo's painting Raíces. She was sold for $5.6 million to a man in New York. El fuego. The first time you had sex, your father sat at the dinner table across from you. That was the first time you ever saw your father cry. He said, how could you do this to me? You know how humiliating this is after everything I've done for you. Years later, you were told your father had been seen multiple times at strip clubs. Sex workers would call your house asking for the money your father owed. When you came back to the city after that winter break, you remember your father crying, so you called your partner and you told them, meet me at the library, let's have a lot of sex tonight. La planta. The doctor looked. She said, Vianney, sweetie, you're not sick, at least not physically. You need to start eating. What is it that hurts? I need to know what hurts so I can help you. You said, I don't know, and you went home to sleep on the mattress that was your bed inside that living room, and you slept there for a day, and then a week, and essentially a whole month until plants began to grow out of you. Your mother called saying, Vianney, mi amor, if you're sick, you need to tell me. But what were you supposed to say? Mami, que ahora me siento como la pintura de Frida Kahlo. Mami, me nacen hierbas y plantas y un montón de raíces out of my body. Your mother stopped watering the plants when your father left, so there's no use, you thought. El fuego. En el Metro de Distrito Federal, it is recommended that as a woman, you never take the metro after 6 p.m. because it is the hour for men to go back home and it becomes unsafe for you to be a woman. It becomes a punishment to be a woman if you don't listen, and you never listen. So one day, a man used the lack of space as an excuse to touch you, and you were just 18. It was your first time traveling alone, and he touched your body. Your body went up in flames. The metro never stopped. Siempre que el amor de mi vida me tocaba, sentía que mi cuerpo se quemaba. Era entonces que la cama se encendía en llamas hasta el día en que me dejó de querer cuando me vio llorar y no supo qué hacer. Supongo que fue como si mis lágrimas apagaron el fuego. La planta. I need to keep buying fake plants because I will always forget to water a real one. Me voy a lanzar al río para crecer eternamente debajo donde la llorona no llora. El fuego. One day I could not afford to attend the SFMoMa, so I asked a friend to let me borrow a blonde wig. I put it on along with my white French beret, the shoes I claimed to be Dior, even though they cost only $20. a white lace blazer, and Zara sparkly pants. I made sure a man followed me to the museum and had him get me a pink velvet cocktail and make sure to drink it in front of the entrance. When the lady at the entrance asked me where my ticket was, I said, "Oh, sorry, ma'am, I seem to have dropped my sticker as I went out for some cocktails. Silly me." She looked at the freckles on my nose and smiled. "Of course, ma'am." I walked in straight to the second floor to the surrealist section looking for some Leonora Carrington and Remedios Varo, but bumped into Dalí and Magritte. I put on some Gucci golden gloves I had obtained at Goodwill, took out my lighter and set the whole room on fire while playing some Chavela Vargas in the background. A man came running up to me. "Ma'am, are you okay?" I began to weep and he stared at the freckles on my nose and said, "No worries, ma'am, I will save you." My blonde wig got destroyed in the fire and the peach glow pearl foundation began to melt. My dark brown tangled brown hair began to show along with the hints of burned French toast in my skin. "Ma'am, I am going to need to see your ticket." The Chavela Vargas gave me away, which is exactly when the man stared at the brown in my hands and pushed me into the fire so he could run away and save himself. The next day, newspaper headlines spoke of the mysterious, beautiful, blonde French lady who disappeared in a surrealist fire, but no one spoke of me. Cromatismo de mi primer amor. Blue. La vie, Pablo Picasso. One day I left blue on his pillow from the blue on my hair, and he said, "I am leaving the blue because I made love to you." He said, "I fucked the blue out of you." And I said, "Mi amor, yo te amo, pero me sigo sintiendo tan Picasso." There was the body of a woman found in the kitchen. Her body was blue, her body was cold. Chavela Vargas te canta en la cocina. Tápame con tu rebozo, llorona, porque me muero de frío. Red. The meditative rose, Salvador Dalí. I left red on my cup, I left red on his lips, I left the red on my fingers. We took a bath because we read that red goes away when you make love underwater. You walk into the kitchen and there's blood in the kitchen, there's red in the kitchen. Her body was covered in red, her body was warm. Joaquín Sabina suena en la cocina. Y morirme contigo si te matas, y matarme contigo si te mueres, porque el amor cuando no muere mata, porque amores que matan nunca mueren. Yellow. The Kiss, Gustav Klimt. I sat on his lap. He said, "Why are your eyes yellow?" He said, "Are you sick, mi amor? Ya no comas chocolate." Yellow mariposas, lluvia de rosas amarillas, and 100 years of solitude inside of me. The sunflowers in Van Gogh's room, the view from his kitchen before he put a gun to his head. You buried the body of a woman under your kitchen out of fear of solitude. A garden of sunflowers grew in your kitchen. You cry every night, and the sunflowers grow taller. Orange, The Scream, Edward Munch. In the Mexican film Como Agua para Chocolate, inspired after Laura Esquivel's novel, Tita and Pedro make love until setting the whole room on fire. I try to teach him about the Spaniards' successful strategies of colonization through Catholic religion. I turned off the lights and lit up some candles. In the middle of the story of Coatlico's transformation into Guadalupe, he put his hand on my leg. I threw the Bible in my hand across the room. My bed caught on fire. There's 2 bodies in the kitchen. The bodies are burning. The bodies of Frida and Diego are burning. Blank. One day he stopped kissing my forehead to stop me from crying. Lo siento, mi vida, ya no te quiero. Diego died hoping he'd known how much he had loved Frida. Poemas para ella. My favorite part about her is her hair. Her hair is a tangled brown swirl of cafecito en las mañanas al asomarse por la ventana del 4º piso en Distrito Federal. I want to caress her hair, I want to hold it forever cuando la vea llorar or when she's angry. I want to tell her, amor, no te cepilles el cabello, que tu cabello me recuerda a una revolución debajo del lago de Chapultepec, debajo del volcán de Popocatépetl. When I sit next to her, I can see the sun hitting her skin de canela, la que endulza mis cafés. Me siento en Colombia observando Museo de Antioquia por una ventana, sintiéndome como en un cuento macondista. When the sun hits her hair looks a golden garden full of tierra sagrada, tierra de amor, tierra en resistencia. Su cabello es un poema en prosa, un poema eterno. Se me parece al río Seine en París if the water was brown and you mixed it with sugar and spices traídos de México y Centroamérica. I want to swim in her hair. Her hair is a prose poem. It goes on and on and on, and I wouldn't mind drowning. One day, de muy chiquita, pequeñita, I fell into mud. My mother said, mijita, ve y lávate, get that off your skin. I wish I had said, but mother, I love brown on my skin. Mother, brown is a beautiful color. I wish I had told her mother 14 years from today I might meet a woman with hair del color del lodo, mujer de la tierra. Her hair reminds me del color de la tierra. Wish I had told her mother one day I might kiss a woman, and no, mother, I will not marry her inside a church standing on top de aquel templo indígena. You know how much blood lies under this church. Mamá, eso no es amor. I think I'm in love with the hair that runs over her shoulders because Eurocentric ideals mean hairs that resemble a smooth golden ocean that tastes like sugar before the Spanish took our spices. I wish I had said, Amá, no me quiero cepillar el cabello. I want my hair to be a loud river. Me voy a hacer una trenza con el cabello de mi amada para que las dos vivamos juntas en nuestra revolución. Un desorden minimalista de un poeta desolado. Brown, white, marble, and green. Once in Mexico City, you get off the cab and walk straight to Café Toscano, El Italiano, and you sit alone in a table facing Parque Rio de Janeiro. There's a statue in the middle resembling David from Florencia, a white marble sculpture of a man whose naked body means art. He is, in fact, the man, but Venus is art, Olympia is art. To not point out the obvious, you refrain from asking the question burning your tongue. What if their bodies were brown? The trees move with the wind, the trees become brown bodies, and you become a tree. In Centro Histórico, it begins to rain. Gold cathedrals turn brown with each raindrop. You enter the coffee shop with the white marble floors, reminds you of the Louvre. Afrodita stands in the museum, another white marble naked woman. I feel most colored when I'm thrown against a sharp white background. You sit next to the green plant because you once read that plants make people happy. You write in your journal, a las 3:47 p.m. no tienes ni puta idea de lo que es el amor. You know what it means to be in love with a city, in love with the green plant next to you, in love with the way your cat breathes as he sleeps, in love with the Un femme est une femme by Jean-Luc Godard. And Anna Karina, the French protagonist of that French film, has said we should boycott women who don't cry, so you sit inside the coffee shop next to the plant and you cry because you have no idea what love means. The plant next to you weeps, you become the plant. Once in Medellín, you arrive at the coffee shop at Parque Lineal Ciudad del Río, the one outside el Museo de Arte Moderno. You sit at the bar alone. The Amélie, tu filme francés favorito soundtrack plays in the background. El café de Colombia es negro. In Medellín, Colombia, folks walking inside Museo de Antioquia are black. Watching them walk feels like watching an installation. I feel most colored when I'm thrown against a white sharp background. The art exposing guerrilleras, Pablo Escobar, la pobreza y corrupción makes you want to start a revolution. In the French film, Amélie likes to observe, so you sit and observe. The black bodies of folks walking the streets of Medellín become roses growing outside Parque Lineal, Ciudad del Río. You sit in Tijuana, a table outside Cafeteria Girasol, and you open the envelope. Inside lies the letter that you've been expecting after 2 years. The last time your father had spoken to you, it had been the day he said happy birthday on your Facebook wall in 2014. Your hands are shaking and you wish you were back in Distrito Federal, back in Medellín, tomando café. Your eyes stumble upon the address the letter came from. You searched it on your phone and discover your father's in jail. Next to you sits a plant. You crumble the letter, the plant dies. Tell me what love is. I don't understand. Thank you.